All right, y'all. What's going on? It's your boy VaunDoom. We got the podcast going. We got my man. What do you like to be called?
Uh, you can just call me Charles.
Okay, bet. So we
You just
got my
call me
man. We
Charles.
got my man Charles. He's a cool cat. We're gonna just do the audio this time because my man want to make sure he behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I'm just saying, like, I don't like. I don't want nobody like just like searching the heck out of me.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So this specific episode is actually going to be, I don't know. It's going to be thought provoking, I guess.
Definitely gonna be deep.
Yeah, it's going to be really deep. So I wanted to talk about the I guess you could say the hardships maybe of being a single father, because you always hear the hardships of being a single mom, but you really never hear the other side of the story when it comes to actual dads, the good dads,
There we go.
actually being there for their kids, and it's still kind of tough for them. But I wanted to discuss the one event that happened. It was a few weeks ago or last week. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I was trying to look at it and see like when it even came, because I was thinking this couldn't have happened like just recently, but then you said it
Right.
happened recently, so I was trying to look it up, but yeah, give some backstory about it, and then like
Right. So
I'll definitely put my thoughts in.
so here's the video. Hopefully, I think the audio is going to work. Hold on, real quick.
Oh God, just hearing just hearing the video,
Oh yeah, man.
like
It's out of control.
yeah, it's really out of control.
Let's see.
Face a charge of aggravated murder for causing the death of Sierra Day's daughter, 4-year-old Anaya Day Garrett. The medical examiner says Anaya was beaten to death and was malnourished at the time of her death.
Satan, the devil, I cannot imagine to tell you why someone would hurt a child.
The child's father, Michael Garrett, says his daughter had been abused over and over again by her mother. He and other family members reported the abuse to Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services on a number of occasions. And at the time of Anaya's death, he was fighting for emergency custody.
Yeah, I did everything in my power to let them know, that I was a stand-up dad and that my daughter was being harmed and abused at home. And this was an emergency.
The anguish over losing his daughter and the anger of coming face to face with the two people accused of killing the child boil over. Michael Garrett says he is overwhelmed by the knowledge that no one was there to protect Anaya.
All right, that's enough because I can't do all the rest of that. I can't do all the rest of that.
Okay. Jeez. Okay. So the crazy thing about that, when you first sent that to me, the crazy thing about that is like, do you know like so many women are doing some crazy stuff with their kids?
Mm-hmm.
Child services, is contacted. They might get their kids taken away from them, but they can get their kids back.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? That they can get their kids back. You know how hard it would be, just for a guy to even try to get custody of his kids,
Oh man.
or you know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know, how backwards it is. Like, I want to say like
yeah.
something really, quick, because my uncle Peter, since I was a kid, he told me, he used to bury this in my head, like, I should never have kids, because eventually, I mean, like, you kind of lose control over your life and over your emotions when you have kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because something can happen to your kids and you go overboard.
Right.
The female can keep the kid away from you, and you lose your mind or whatever like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he always used to bury that in my head, and so the first thing I thought of, like, when I heard this was like, man, like, and just hearing the dad scream, like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know about you. I just don't know what I would have done in that situation.
I'd be in jail.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'd be in jail.
we don't know. Like, like psychologically, we don't know like what we would do. Like I can only imagine like what I would do if something like that happened. Like let alone like because this daughter was killed.
Right.
This daughter was killed.
And to think that my man was trying mad hard to get custody, and like Child Protective Services was like just playing with the man.
Yeah. That's the point. Like that's the problem that I'm having with all this is
Right.
that when there's a good dad, I mean, even okay, let's not even we don't even. I mean, we're talking about the hardships of dads, but just period. Like, if this is going on, child services are supposed to be the ones to step up and do something about it.
Exactly.
Regardless, you know what I mean? And it's like, yo, like what's going? There needs to be there definitely needs to be an investigation on that office and in their procedures, because definitely I remember I was listening to it, said that whenever they used to come to the apartment, they would hide the child in the closet. Are they not asking like, where's the child at?
That's crazy.
Are they not trying to figure out like, yo, we've not seen the child every time we come here. Like, where's the child at?
Well, shoot. Well, it seems like those guys up over there have no clue how to
Where
do
was
their
this at?
job.
Where was this at again?
I believe it was in Cleveland.
Oh, well, okay.
That explains it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely explains like what was the kid that got killed over there?
I think so.
The police officer ran up on him and shot him. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even when like whenever I used to go to Cleveland, I don't go to Cleveland that often, but a couple times when I go to Cleveland, like there's always like some type of mess over there. You know what I mean? But I don't know, dude. It gets to a point when you're literally trying your best and something like this happens. It's like, what do you do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially as a father, like, what do you do?
Right.
You know what I mean? You just have to like, trust and believe that, nothing's gonna happen.
And it's crazy too, because it kind of shows exactly like how like screwed over like dads are, like good dads. Like it's kind of like, because you have your hardships, and then you try, like for example, like when you're a good dad, but like say you might have a mom that ain't having it, and like for example, like when you're together, they expect you to be there all the time. Why aren't you here? Why you got to be with your kid? Blah blah blah. But as soon as you split up and you still want to be there, all of a sudden you get weekends. How does that work?
Well, but without trying to like denigrate women on a consistent basis, I do feel like women. I feel like women feel like they own their kids, and that nobody else like has right to their kids. Now there are some women, I know plenty of them, that believe in a father being there,
right.
And if the father would like to be there, she'd be more than happy to let him have the kid. But there is plenty of women out there, and I know a lot of them that feel like they own their child, that their child is property to them.
Yeah,
and that that they give like they have the say so over everything.
Yeah, and I guess there's this idea that the father is just like some guy that they have to let their child or property come to, because it's just how it goes or whatever.
Yeah, and this is when laws need to step in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this has been going on for years,
right?
And there's not been any like laws to change all this type of stuff. I think it has a lot to do with men not not getting out there and actively trying to change lawmakers.
Right.
I think that has a right to do, because women do it all the time. You know what I mean? But I feel like men don't do it because they might feel like, oh well, they're gonna say we're complaining or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But men just feel like men haven't really gone out there and like, you know what, we're going to do something to make a change so that we aren't like this.
For real, I also think guys or fathers don't really try to make a change is because I feel like they can't. Because
Okay.
I see a lot of
When you say can't, expound on that a little bit more.
like I see a lot of guys that like are that are single fathers. They feel like they can't because they know that whatever they do, it's not going to work because of like how the system works. And
Well-
they feel like the system isn't like built for the benefit of fathers, regardless if you're good or not.
Yeah, well, obviously, like, what I'm saying is, like, men need to actively go. There needs to be some type of men organization,
Right.
that where they're actively trying to lobby lawmakers and get change. Obviously, us by ourselves, we just can't do. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
There needs to be men actively out there, fighting for the cause.
Right.
You know what I mean? Fighting for specific, because I mean, this is like, there's nothing about this that's new.
Right.
This has been going on for so many years. Like, I clearly, I remember when Paul McCartney gave his wife, like, I don't know what it was. It was an insane amount of money for child support.
Mm-hmm.
Puff Daddy's, P Diddy is the same thing. Gave his kid's mom, an enormous amount of money for child support. It's like a kid does not need $20,000 a month to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, it gets to the point where these things are going on, but nobody's changing them, and nobody's changing them because nobody's tapping that lawmaker on the shoulder saying,
Right.
"Hey, listen, this needs to change."
Right.
You know what I mean? It
exactly.
could, but it also could. What it could be too is, it could be providing, income for the city.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's doing that, then nobody's going to change it ever.
Right, I feel that because I know a lot of homies that I know, like their lives are like literally impacted
Yeah.
by like child support
Yeah.
and things like that, and they'll maybe have their kid like this couple days or that couple days after they get separate. Like it sucks when you have your kid every day,
Yeah.
but then you get separated and then you have your kid this amount of days or that amount of days,
Yeah.
and you still gotta pay this amount,
Mm-hmm.
and it breaks you, it kills you.
It really does.
And I don't understand how like the system lets that happen, because how are you supposed to let your father care for the child that you're
Mm-hmm.
expecting to pay for on the other side, but then when you get the child, you almost broke.
It has to, and that's funny too, because when the kid comes over, you're like, well, shit, I've been giving your mom all this goddamn money.
Right.
It's like, how am I supposed to like take care of you when you come over here?
Exactly.
But and that's and it brings me right back to what my uncle used to say. He like, you need to, don't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, don't have kids. Now, there's one thing he used to tell me is that if you want to see a man break down, like a grown man break down, go to child support court. That's what he used to tell me. Like, he used to bury this into my head like all the time, and I was always that dude. Like, like, I'm not gonna have kids because I don't want to be a slave
Right.
to the system. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's just literally it's literally like you being a slave. Like, once you get in that system, it's you being a slave.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you don't, your capital punishment, if you ain't gonna follow their rules, is we're gonna either lock you up, we're gonna take away your business license. Dude, my homeboy's business license got taken away from him. His account got locked, got frozen.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
His account got locked, got frozen. They ain't lock him up, but they took all that away. I know my homeboy, his license got taken away from him.
That's
all
deep.
this type of shit that goes on, and it's like, what I mean, you're trying, but it's like, what I mean, and I hate to even bring this up, but it's like, I think it causes more and more poverty within the community.
Yeah.
It causes more and more because you knew his financial standings when you first got with him.
Right.
Then you have a baby by him. You go get child support and put him in more poverty. Not just one person. That this is continually happening.
Exactly.
So obviously it's just destroying the community within you live in.
Right.
So.
Well, okay, so that brings me to two things. One is the importance of knowing the law, because when
I don't. Go ahead.
Because I know a lot of guys. I know a dude that's in like some trouble right now. And every time, like situations like that, when my boys happen.
Are you saying knowing the law when you have the kid or before the kid?
The after.
Okay.
Like if there's a situation that happens that you have to separate or whatever.
Okay.
I always tell my homies, hey, regardless if y'all cool or not, get those papers.
Matter of fact, if y'all cool at the moment, it's perfect time to get them damn papers.
Man.
It's perfect time to get them damn papers. I remember when my homeboy, he was getting married and they were all lovey-dovey, and he brought a prenup right in front of him, right like when she's all happy go lucky, she signs it. 6 years later when they're getting divorced. She's trying to use her happiness as influence.
Wow.
To reverse the prenup. Wow. So I agree with exactly what you're saying, man. Like, get those papers immediately, man. Because I ain't gonna bring it. Well, I'm gonna say this. Like, you can either get those papers or you can get married. At least if you get married. Like you automatically have rights to the child. Like, it's automatic. You have rights to the child and everything. That's not to say that when you go to court, they're gonna, give you, custody or, or partial custody or whatever like that. Another thing that guys do that I think is a mistake is like when they're married and they have a kid, and like they're going through stuff or whatever like that, and the wife leaves. Don't allow her to take the kids like that.
Right.
Because once she takes those kids and they've been living with her for a week, Mm-hmm. The court's automatically gonna look at that. Mm-hmm. Like they're gonna be like, oh well, she took the kids and you didn't say anything about it. All of a sudden, like when you're trying to get custody of the kids, like you have no play whatsoever. She can't just take the kids.
Right.
Now, if y'all aren't married, she can just take the kids.
Right.
Even I don't even know I don't even know if you can get papers to where you give yourself partial. You can.
Yeah. Because when I had to go through it.
Yeah.
Like I went and I went for shared parenting.
Okay.
So, cause like I said, I always tell my friends or whoever that gets into situations like this, no matter what you do. Get a lawyer, filed for, shared parenting. That's good enough because that gets you your rights and it shuts everything down because everything is on paper. The courts tell you instructions and this and that. Everything is 50-50 if you can actually get to that. But I always say, like,
the process is a little.
Oh my gosh, it takes so long.
Yeah, so that might scare off like a lot of guys.
Yeah,
like they might be like, I'm not.
Yeah,
go through
it's
that.
tedious.
And then how much money does it cost?
Like, well, I guess it depends because my joint it was like about like $1,000 or something like that.
Okay.
But
you got like a lawyer involved and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying because a lot of guys, a lot of fathers aren't really, or at least I don't want to say it, but like maybe in the African American community, or at least what I see around here.
Okay.
Like they'll have their children, and then things may happen where they have to leave their children's mother or whatever.
Okay.
But it seems like they don't look into their rights. And so I'm like, yo, the first thing you need to do, if something crazy goes down, even one of the folks, because when I was at a mediation a couple years ago, the mediator even told me, he was like, yo, like my son had to go through it. Even they were even together. Make sure, regardless, get you some papers so that way if something does happen or something even doesn't happen, you still have rights and you still, things are this way and things are that way, and both of you guys have to go how the court abide by the court orders. And so nothing, if something goes crazy, then people act up, they got to deal with the courts. But they're not going to do that because they have, they got papers. So I'm always telling my homies, like, make sure you get some papers so that way if something goes down, you have this and that and this and that, and the courts tell you this and that, and y'all can communicate through the courts, and you can have your child which day, that day, this day, that way, and that's all you need. And you ain't got to go through no trouble. You ain't got to go through, nigga, I want to see my child. None of that.
You know what's funny too? You bringing that up is a friend of mine. He did that same thing where he got, like, he went for shared parenting and everything like that. This was when everything was good. Like, everything was good, happy-go-lucky and everything like that. And he went for that, and then, like, I think they broke up like a year and a half later. And he came to pick up his kid. Like, he said, like, yo, I'm gonna come pick him up. She's like, nah, you ain't gonna come pick him up. And immediately, like, that day he went to the downtown or whatever, like the municipal or whatever like that, and filed, and the police came there with a subpoena saying, hey, listen, you know what I mean, you gotta show up for court because you're in violation of this agreement. She forgot all about that agreement.
Wow.
She forgot all about that agreement, and it was like, you know what I mean. And then, like, what's funny is 2 weeks later, she's wanting to, like, kind of get back with him.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that paper kind of put her in check.
Exactly.
It put her in check.
Exactly.
Like, yo, you ain't just gonna come and do what you want to do up in here. Like, that happens for like some females, like, where they're able to just run amok and do what they want. But that paper put her in check, and she was like, oh fuck, now I gotta kind of, like, abide by this. And now I think they did get back together. I ain't spoke to him in a long time, so I don't know if they still together, whatever like that. But they got back together. It's like, I feel like I really felt that paper put her in check. Like, yo, you ain't gonna run the muck up in here. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure my man ain't had no trouble ever since.
He had no trouble.
I'm pretty sure my man.
Now he did say that he's never ever giving a female his kid again.
Right.
He did say that, but you know what I mean? I know from that particular time, you know what I mean, he was definitely like, yo, like, you ain't gonna run the muck up in here. I got papers. You're not gonna do none of that nonsense.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, and that's what that's what I want cats to realize, the importance. Now, look,
but we also need to talk about, like, talk about prevention. Like, we can't talk about after the fact, all the time. Like, we have to talk about prevention. Like, I personally feel like there needs to be somebody that goes to junior highs, high schools, possibly even colleges, talking to young boys saying, listen, this is what's going to happen to you if you have a kid and you separate.
Right.
This is what's going to happen to you. Somebody needs to be having these talks, man, because real talk, like, this shit's destroying our community.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
it's really fucking destroying our community, man. Like, this shit is putting our community in it's impoverishing our communities. You know what I mean? It's fucking up families.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, really, like, you know what I mean? We really need to talk about prevention, too, at the same fact that we talk about, you know what I mean, after the fact. Right. After the fact, you know what I mean, we can, that's cool and all, but we also need to talk about prevention.
That makes a lot of sense, because, like, if people did bring class like in high schools and whatever, probably in high schools, and also to, like, show the importance of having a father figure.
Exactly. Because that's not shown enough.
Right. Because that's one of the big reasons why we have so much, like, problems in our community, because there's no father figures. And if there's no father figures, kids, especially boys, don't have, like, anybody to look up to, and then they look up to the streets.
Exactly.
And then it's just a circle of death that goes over and over. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
And what's funny too is like I kind of had this theory, like I feel like, and this is like, I'm not trying to down women again, but like I feel like men that are raised by women are much more, or just women, they just have women around them, they're more emotional.
Oh yeah.
Like they're more like, if some shit pop off, you know what I mean, instead of like talking about it, you know what I mean, I'm gonna you know, I'm gonna shoot your ass.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I mean, it goes like, I mean, when I speak to like a lot of dudes, like I think about like NBA YoungBoy you know, I use him as an example sometimes because like him being raised by just his mom, you know what I mean? Like that dude's emotional as fuck. Like when they were talking about how he just literally sprayed up a whole fucking car.
Damn.
You know what I mean? It's like, what you do that for? Because dude was talking shit. Really? That's it?
Wow.
You know what I mean? He was talking shit. Like you couldn't just fade it out. Like you had to spray the whole shit up. You know what I mean? Like you know what's another thing too. And I've always, and this is not gonna happen. I'm not saying it should happen, but I've always thought like men or baby boys should have vasectomies like when they're first born. that way. You know, these problems won't happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when you're ready to like fucking when you're ready to fucking like have a kid, you know, you go have the shit reversed or whatever like that. You can have your kid. No, the thing about it though, I will say, if that shit was to ever happen, no niggas isn't going back to get that motherfucker reversed.
Man, look.
I don't think dudes are gonna go back and get their shit reversed.
The population will go.
Yeah, the population
down.
would just fall out because dudes
down.
gonna be like, nah, bump that. I ain't getting no reverse. I'm about to keep smashing.
Everybody would have the weakest pullout game. Bro. The weakest.
They wouldn't have pullout game. I'm not pulling out for nothing. I'm about to just leave up in that thing, man.
Pull out for what? Man?
Yeah, for real. Pull out for what?
You know what I mean? But okay, so that leads me to a question that I think a lot of fathers, you know, the good ones, usually probably maybe ponder over. So I'll ask your opinion. So are moms and dads equal?
No.
Can you elaborate?
They're equal as in you know, as a human, you're equal. You know, you should be treated equal. But mom and dads are definitely like not equal as far as like what one can do and what the other can't do. Dads are definitely disciplinarians. They're definitely people who can definitely make teach a man how to be a man. A woman can't do that.
Right. But as for like the ownership of the child, are the mothers?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Is the mom and dad equal when it comes to the ownership of the child? Because like you said earlier, it seems like.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I didn't dump up off in you, I mean, you know what I mean? Like one thing I always hear so much about, like, you know, like women are the creators of life. No, not necessarily. I mean, you birth them out, but like I put it in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
what I be saying.
Yeah, like you can't, like you're not creating life by yourself. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, we should be equal in that factor. Yeah.
So why do you think? Because like you said earlier, it seems like women believe, their mothers believe that their child is their.
Because of society and how women, you know, like like before child support and all this craziness, women stayed at home, cooked, cleaned, took care of the kids. The dude went to work.
So
whatever.
It's like a culture influence in a way.
I mean, slightly. I mean, like the system. Like when I don't know. I forgot that woman's name. I read her book, and I also watched a movie about her. But like she's the one that pushed for child support. She's the one that pushed for child support. She's the one that pushed for you know, women getting payment for, you know, for kids and everything like that. And like when that started, I think that's what kind of started the whole, well, women have been the caretakers, so we should just make them the caretakers. You know, and men haven't been fighting it.
Right.
Men aren't out there, you know what I mean, fighting the good fight, trying to, you know, change lawmakers' minds, which is crazy. I mean, Donald Trump is president. I know he paying a whole bunch in child support.
Right.
So I was like, why isn't he just saying something? But that's what I'm saying. Like there's something there that's making it where they're saying, hey, listen, women are gonna do this, men, you guys are gonna just pay. You know, I think like there's like it's paying for like the cities, like, you know, child support is paying for like the counties, because I know like when I went to that child support thing in Atlanta, like when I took a friend of mine to the court thing, and he went into his office, and there's like a company that manages all this.
Right.
You know what I mean? That manages the payments and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's making money. It's making money for people. So it's like I don't think they want to stop it. I don't think they want to stop it because I think it's making money for people.
Kind of like how jails don't want to not have jails and prisoners because they make money on it.
Private jails.
Private jails. Yeah.
I mean, same. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, you know what I mean, like they're trying to fight for like, you know, to get rid of private jails, but it's like private jails makes money for people. There's stock. You know what I mean, in that stuff. You know what I mean. I'm surprised there's no stock in child support.
So that could probably be a reason why these fathers, even these good fathers, have to like go broke.
I think the main reason is men aren't out there fighting.
They're not fighting for
it. To me, that's the main reason why you know, this is continuing to go on. You know, it's continuing to go on because you know, men aren't out there fighting. There is a powerful dude out there that's went through all this type of stuff, and you know, he can influence somebody,
right? But
they choose not to do that. You know, or they might be just influencing their case. You know what I mean? I forgot what this dude went through. I don't know his whole story. It's a really big case, but there's an actor by the name of David Foley.
Okay.
I think his name is David Foley. He used to be on news radio. I think it was in the 90s or whatever like that.
All right.
And it was his biggest TV show. Like he's never made he's never made any money that big since that time.
Okay.
And he lives in Canada, and Canada's rules, as far as when it comes to child support, is insane.
Oh, really?
It's really insane. You know what I mean? I can't expound on it more because I forgot some of the case, but he's paying the same amount of money that in 2017. He's paying the same amount that he made on news radio, which I think it's like $30,000 a month.
What?
And he's paying the same amount now, and he doesn't make that much money anymore.
How do you do it? How do you live,
dude? I don't know.
Wow, that's deep.
I don't know, but it goes right back to the fact my Uncle Pete don't have kids. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, when I hear these stories, my main thing is like, well, first off, you know what I mean? You know, you obviously love your kids, but that can make you hate like having your kid.
Yeah.
It can seriously make you hate having your kid. You're like, damn, I wish I never had this kid.
Like
dude.
all like the having your child is like great. It's a great experience. And then there's like the stuff in the background that sometimes make you go,
yeah.
This is okay. So, man, I had a point. I lost it. Shoot, it was about I think it was about child support and okay, yeah. So I was checking out some stuff the other day, and there was this thing where people were talking about like should the government start kind of like food stamps. Now people are kind of like saying like should child support have like receipts and stuff, or should there be a limit or a specific type of way you can check child support? Because I know a lot of females are like, shoot, I'll use it for my rent. Me and my child got to live in this house, or me and my child got to have the heat and all of this and that and the other. But a lot of people are like,
Yo, I'm gonna say this story, and this is a girl that lives in Mansfield. If she's listening, I give two fucks about it. I give two fucks about it.
Dang.
This girl, right? This girl, she her kid's dad or whatever went to jail or whatever like that, and she got a tax return. She got a tax return, and she got back child support when he got out.
right.
So she basically got his taxes and her taxes. So
Right.
it went around 8,000 to 9,000.
Damn.
Around that.
Oh,
You know what this girl spent this money on?
What?
This girl bought a TV.
Oh, great.
She put new tires on her car.
Oh, that's beneficial.
That's
That's so
she
beneficial.
paid her rent. She paid her rent like for the rest of the lease.
Right.
I think it was like two. She had 2 years on it. She paid that in full. She bought herself some clothes.
Tight.
She bought herself some shoes. A bedroom set.
Oh, nice.
She did buy her kid some clothes, and I think she bought her kid like a bunk bed or something like that.
Oh, that's nice.
But like that's just 10% of what she got.
Right.
Like the rest of it she spent on herself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this broad, till this day, I drive by that apartment. Still lives in that apartment. She, she works at. I'm not gonna say where she works, but she works down the street from over there.
Okay.
Okay. She works down the street over there. It's like I think like a week or two ago, she was telling me how she was asking her mom for money for food because she didn't have food. Bitch, what happened to that tax money?
Oh, dang.
Like for real, man. Like I'm telling you, like you. I agree with that. I agree with it, and I don't agree with it. But the reason why I agree with it is because women are taking advantage of it.
Right.
If women weren't taking advantage of it, I would say go ahead and nah, we don't need receipts, man.
Right.
Just handle your business.
Right.
But obviously, these females out here, like listen, man, when you're a female, you got 2 kids. You know what I mean, and you live in the projects, and you get money from your taxes. And you still living in the projects, like you're getting 3, 4, 5 grand. You're still living in the projects,
Man.
You know what I mean? Like you ain't taking none of that money and moving yourself to a better neighborhood,
Man.
Like it gets to the point where I'm just like, man, you know what I mean? Like we don't have kids.
Nah, right. I feel that. So they shouldn't be paying because as I was saying, like.
Also, real quick, I'm sorry. I want to say this so I can get this out real quick. I think some of the child support also needs there needs to be an escrow fund for the kids.
Oh, okay.
Meaning some of that child support needs to go into a college fund.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
But go ahead. Sorry, bro.
Because I was getting ready to say like some women be like, my child needs to live in this house, so I'm gonna pay this rent. But then other people would be like, well, if you need a child to pay, like if you're an adult, I mean, you should be paying rent regardless of if you have a child or not.
Yeah. And listen, I have my kid, like, I would say half, like, she has him, like, we split the months, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she has in 2 weeks, I have in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Like, we work it out.
2 weeks?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm pretty sure, like if I wanted to, I could probably have them for like 3 up to a month or whatever like that. But
That's deep.
we just kind of work it out like that. And my bills aren't going up. I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but my bills aren't like I'm just like, oh my god, my kid's coming over. I got I can look at my pockets. Like nah, man. Like my bills are the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Food is still the same. I don't have and listen. I live here by myself. I don't have my mom. I don't have my dad. I don't have no family. I don't have nobody here to help me.
Right.
I'm here by myself, and when I have my kid, you know what I mean. I don't look at my bill and be like, oh my god, that 2 weeks he was here, my bills jumped up. No, it's not. You're just making excuses because you want that money. Yeah. That's all it is. And this is another thing I want to bring up too. If Duke University did a it was a survey of men, and it was in 2014. They did a survey, and they did a statistics where less than 1% of men are asking for child support or any help from the government or anybody to help them with if they have custody of their kid, of their kid or their kids. Why is it that when men have custody, we don't ask for help?
Probably,
but when women do, they're asking for
help. Probably because of the history of like the culture of the job of the man and the woman. The man is supposed to do this and work and bring the money, while the woman is supposed to like take care of the kids and this and that. And apparently, taking care of the kids, washing dishes, doing all that ain't free. I guess
that's an individual thing. Like if you and this is we're in the 2000s. Like if you have a kid, all of a sudden, what does that mean? The government's supposed to take care of you,
right?
You know what I mean? Like I mean, at the end of the day, like what I mean, like. I understand, like I think it's more so. It's like they want you to pay them for having to deal with your kid.
Right.
That's what I think. They want you to pay them. They want you or the government to pay them to take care of your kid that she popped out.
Right.
That's personally like what I think
right.
Because. I don't know too many guys that are, that get custody of their kid and they're going to court trying to fight for child support.
Man,
I'm handling my business. I ain't got time for that. Now there are some women out there, and I know some of them. I don't know too many here, but
but for real.
But I know some in Atlanta. Like what I mean, like I don't need no dude. I mean, if he don't want to take care of his kid. I ain't got time for that, man. I got me a job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that's the thing. Like for real. Like if you're an adult. And like you take care of your responsibilities, like taking care of a child. I mean, at least for me, taking care of a child, I thought I was going down. I thought it was over. Real talk, I thought it was over.
He said going down.
I was going down, but for real, okay. After like the first 6 months to a year, I'm like, besides like diapers.
Going down. What do you mean? Like just like you know what to do? Like what
I didn't know what to do. I thought my life was over. I thought I was gonna go broke because of hearing all the like how people talk about how they went like and their kids and child support and this and that. And then like the first year and then like a year and a half, I'm like, bro, like this is nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay. I gotta buy a couple clothes.
I didn't feel like it was tough. Like when. When I was told when I was told he's coming, like it was tough. Cause I was like,
man,
because I at the time I was in my band and we were touring, and I was like, damn, man, like, you know what I mean, like I'm gonna have to, if I want to be there, man, I'm gonna have to quit going on the road and this and that, blah blah blah, you know what I mean, but when it didn't seem too hard to me either. Like I didn't feel like it was too hard. You know what I mean? Like
because at first I was in survival mode. Because at first I was like, I mean, if we have his kids, like, because I was scared to have a child. Because like, man, look, I was trying to go to college, which I did. I was trying to like see the world, be the big music star, and do this and do that without no limitations. And when I found out I was having a kid, like I was like, oh my god, I'm going down. I'm going to die.
It might also depend on like what type of kid you have too.
Oh yeah.
I think it might that might depend on it because like my kid does anything. If if I say give me 10 push-ups, my kids giving me 10
Oh
push-ups.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Like,
of
you know what I
course.
mean? Like you seen my
Right.
you know what I mean? Like sit there, watch your Thomas, don't say nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he does basically anything I say. He's quiet.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
Right.
mean, my situation is totally different than other people. I've seen people's kids, like the girl I was talking about that spent all her tax money on herself.
Just
Like like her kids are insane.
twerking on the kitchen table.
Her kids are completely insane, man. I remember one time they put firecrackers in her shoes. Oh man. I was like, man, I'm about to get up out of here, man.
Oh,
you know what I
man.
mean? Like I'll smash you later.
I couldn't do that. My kid is super good. She's trained. She loves to read, and she knows how to obey. I've never seen her act out in the store
you know what?
anywhere.
That also might be because the dad, you know what I mean? The dad's there. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Because
it's possible.
I mean, like, and this is just my observation. Like, whenever the dad's there, there's more control.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know this one kid. Like he isn't. I don't know. From what I was told, you know, his mom doesn't know who the dad is, and so I think he's like 10 now.
Okay.
And he's never really met his dad, and so every time he comes across a male figure, he's always trying to gravitate to that male figure.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because when he first met me, like he was always up on me, like
Right.
always trying to like be up on me. He was always like, "Well, how do you do this? Like, tell me how you do this." You know what I mean? Like, you know what are you doing tomorrow? You want to hang out and do this? And it's everything he mentions is always
It's
like
like
some
some
man
like
stuff.
some man stuff,
It's some
yeah.
man stuff. You know what I mean?
And
So
then
it's
when
like,
and then
you know what I
have
mean?
guys that get older, and then they see that, and then they never had that, and they feel some type of way,
Yeah.
and then they lash out in like bad ways, because they never had a dad.
Yeah, I think it's like if you're a mom and you're keeping the dad away, you're really just, you know, being detrimental to you're messing the kid up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're seriously messing the kid up. And like I said, it comes right back to like destroying our community.
Right.
Like that's destroying our community. Like you're you're contributing, you know what I mean, to the destruction of
Right.
our community when you're not allowing fathers to be
Right.
in
And
their situation.
I know a guy that is in that exact situation. Like, I ain't gonna tell his junk, but he unfortunately his kid's mom won't let him see his child. I don't know if I think they just had the kid. I think like last week or something.
Oh, this is fresh.
Yeah, this is fresh. And my man, I've worked with the cat, so I know my man is a stand-up dude. Like, he's a real cool cat, and I'm pretty sure that he would be there for his kid, like at the drop of a hat. But for some reason, like, I don't know all the details. All I know is just that they won't let him see his kid.
Who's they, or when you say they?
Like, I guess his kid's
mom?
mom and like her side or whatever. And I'm like, dang, that's messed up, because like there's, of course, you got how like your feelings and all that, but your feelings can't cloud like cloud your judgment on how your child needs to be raised, because regardless what anybody says, like, your child is going to need both the mother and the father, because like you said, the mother can't do what the father can, and the father can't do what the mother can.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, if the dude is willing 100% to be there and you're still trying to keep him away off of some other stuff, I don't really think you need to be having kids, because that's like that's very, to me, that's immoral, number one. And like you said, that's very detrimental to the child, regardless of how you live or whatever. That's still like a detriment to the community, and then you're just basically encouraging and following this cycle that we've been following.
It's insane. Like how they're like, you know, the courts are always talking about, they're always talking about how they're looking out for the child. Like, there's plenty of studies that will show you, like, when you when the father isn't there, the girl acts a certain way. I don't want to say how she acts. I don't want to say how she acts, but you know, there's plenty of studies that show that. There's plenty of studies that show that for a boy. It's like, it gets to a point where like you don't care nothing about these kids.
Right.
It's more just like it's more so you just want us to get money. You just want to get money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so.
Okay, and I was going to say, I forgot I was going to bring you to a point when we were talking about how like when you have your kid, how like I said, I was scared I was going down, but then like when you actually do it a year, 2, 3, and you're like, bro, this is not hard at all. Okay, I gotta buy a couple more clothes and an extra 10-piece chicken nugget at McDonald's, and that's it. You're straight. So my point was saying that like for like when it comes to like child support or whatever, or like needing money or whatnot, and it's kind of like, yo, to be honest, to me it really ain't that big of a thing.
It's funny too. Like if I was a judge, and I mean, obviously this would have to be put into law. But if 2 people came in front of me and she was like, "Well, yeah, I want child support," I would look to the man and be like, "Hey, can you take care of this kid without any child support?" He'd be like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, just give him the kid. He can take care of it. He can take care of it like without any child support. You need help, so how about you take care of yourself first?
Yeah.
Get whatever help you need.
Yeah.
And let him take care of the kid. And I bet you the female will be like, "Oh, well, never mind. I'll handle it myself."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the reason is like men aren't pushing that. You know what's funny too? Like when they talk about clothes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many females came by my house and just dropped off buckets of like their kids' clothes?
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like just dropped off like, tubs and tubs of their kids' clothes that they grew out of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't use all of them and stuff like that. Like I didn't, but like I don't want to hear anything about clothes.
Right.
You know what I mean? About food.
Right.
You're good. You know what I mean? Like you're good. Like we can literally go to Goodwill. Like my son be fresh.
Right.
We can go to Goodwill and he can get a whole outfit for $5.
Yeah,
and he'll look fresh as hell.
Oh, then
you know what I mean?
Then you got those folks that want to dress their children like they're in a music video.
Yeah. If you want to dress your kid like he's a little pump or something like that, then you know what I mean. Like that's fine. You spend that money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Like don't nobody else. I don't know, man. This is like hashtag don't have kids. Real talk. Hashtag don't have kids, man. For real.
I'll tell you, it's a challenge. I wouldn't say don't have kids, but
no, I would. Okay, go ahead, say that.
Oh, I was going to say just have kids with the right person.
Don't have kids, bro. No, real shit. Don't, because eventually that shit is gonna hit the fan, man.
Dang.
Eventually that shit's gonna hit the fan. Like I mean, I'm just being honest, man. Like I know, like I'm gonna ask you this question. Okay. Who do you know under the age of 35 that has been married for more than 5 years?
Oh man.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'm right here. I'll wait. And you can bring up anybody in the United States and international, man.
Dang.
I know one, and they've been married for like 19 years, and he's only they've been married for 12 years.
Jeez.
I think he's like 31 or 32. My homeboy Tim. Shouts out to him and his wife.
Yeah, you got me there, man.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Eventually, you're gonna get married to this girl. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna do all that type of nonsense. When y'all divorce, because it's gonna happen. Y'all gonna divorce. She's gonna go for child support. Bam, there you go.
I think statistics do say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
50% of marriages
it's
end in
over
divorce.
50%, bro.
Oh,
it's
wow.
over 50% now. I mean, I think 50% was like in 2015 or something like that.
Wow.
It's definitely over. There's no point to me. I don't want to get into a whole thing with marriage or whatever.
I was going to ask though. Do you think that's a generational thing? Because like
it's what a generational thing.
Like getting to like people getting married and getting divorced.
I think once MySpace came out, I think because when I was in school and MySpace came out, it gave me access to so many people.
Yep. Yeah.
It gave me access to so I knew that this person goes to this junior high,
right.
This person goes to that junior high. Oh snap! And then you're all meeting up and you're meeting new people.
Yeah.
When that came out, that destroyed relationships. Because then all of a sudden you started seeing what guys really want. Like you started seeing guys being friends with girls that were twerking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just seeing everything. You're having, dude. Do you know how many girls I met from junior high to high school to college? It's like I would say 87% of the girls that I met were literally from MySpace, Facebook. Damn. You know what I mean? It was insane. Like you were just meeting girls like so fast. So instead of just the girls that went to your school or that were in your neighborhood or in your area, you started meeting girls that were 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away,
right,
or whatever like that. And you start meeting up with them, and so all of a sudden you're it's like,
now you got that plenty of fish on deck.
Exactly. I don't know about plenty of fish that
dating.
Oh yeah. It's a
like
date,
Tinder.
Yeah, but yeah, like when I just think the internet, it gave way to like you're able to meet, as many people as you want. You know what I mean? I don't think so I guess it is a kind of a generational thing, but it's like I personally think like 5 years is it. Nobody wants to, my Uncle Pete, like nobody wants to wear the same shoes for the rest of their life.
Damn.
Nobody wants to wear the same outfit for the rest of their life. Nobody wants to eat the same food for the rest of their life.
So that's how it is now?
That's how it is, bro. That's just real talk. Like nobody like you can say you can deal with it as much as you want. I know a dude right now. He live. Oh, I won't say where he lives because he gonna know I'm talking about. I know he's listening, but he's in a relationship right now with this girl. He's married to her, and he's not leaving because he does not want child support. He does not want alimony.
Damn.
He's waiting 6 more years so until his kids get 18. So that he's out. So he's out.
He's out.
And,
wow.
and that's a word. Listen to y'all. A lot of y'all females. A lot of y'all men ain't with y'all because they love y'all. They with y'all because because he waiting for that 18 to hit.
Shoot, that needs to be a shoot.
That's fucked up, but that's real shit.
That needs to be another
topic.
I
don't want to get off topic. But
no, you straight. You straight. Okay, well, what did we learn, guys? Don't have kids.
Don't have kids.
Don't get married.
Don't get married.
Stay off Facebook.
Stay off Facebook. Actually, I mean. Facebook's not even what it is right now. Snapchat and Instagram.
Oh yeah,
it's insane. Like let me not even go there.
Don't get trapped.
Yeah, don't
get trapped. But all right, y'all. I think. Do you think we've said enough?
We've definitely said enough. We've been on here how long? 57.
For about an hour, yeah.
Wow, dude. Like I didn't even think we were. I literally thought it was 30 minutes.
Oh yeah. We had a lot to say. All right, guys. Well, it's your boy VaunDoom,
Charles.
My man Charles. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.